Hey, Jared.
Yes.
When does people watching become stalking?
Great question. I think the line is kind of blurred at some point. I don't know. What is the answer?
When you stand up.
Oh, sure. There you go.
Yeah. Sitting is observing. Standing has intent.
Yeah, but what if you're just standing up to go somewhere else? You're just standing just to stretch, you know?
The crime is in the posture.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time Film, a podcast where we discuss a director's filmography. We are kicking off Christopher Nolan, one we've been kind of holding off on doing for a while, because both of us really like him as a director. But Jared,
Yes.
just because we are a podcaster doesn't mean we need to look like a podcaster.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm Josh, and this is my co-host Jared.
You take it away, you show them what they have.
I also had that one down.
Great line.
And then everyone has a box.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So what we're going to do today is discuss Nolan's first film, Following. So we'll start with some stats and then give our overall thoughts, kind of non-spoiler. And then we'll kind of get into what we liked and didn't like. It includes spoilers. Talk about some of the cinematography.
A little indie filmmaker called Nolan. I mean, at this time, I guess.
This time, yeah.
Yeah. But
so we're going to get into cinematography, like some of the nerdy stuff, camera work, movement, lighting, color grading, and then music and score, a little bit of trivia, and then our final, like, overall theme we think that the director's trying to communicate, and then final thoughts.
By the way, I have issue with you saying you nerdy on just cinematography.
And the music's not nerdy.
Cinematography is nerdy to you, but music is nerdy to me.
Okay. Well, I was kind of thinking, yeah. Anyway, I did think about that.
But someone listening or watching might think all this is nerdy.
The fact that we're even just sitting and talking about a movie is nerdy, which is okay.
Or none of it is nerdy.
Nothing wrong with being a nerd.
No.
I think
they're the ones that rule the world now at this point, I would say.
It's true. All right. Let's get into this film. So this came out in 1998.
That was 99.
IMDb says 98.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But yes, there was like something else that said 99. But yeah. It's rated R, an hour and 9 minutes.
Yes.
This is when does something become a feature film? What is the
I was going to ask you that. Because this is not, it's too long to be a short film.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what is feature length? Maybe he just like hit that.
Is it an hour? Over 60 minutes? Under 60 minutes?
Yeah, it might just be just over 60. And so that would qualify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I mean, something obviously you could look up easily, but it's not something I really know off the top of my head.
Leave a comment and let us know.
Yeah. What do you think dictates a theatrical versus a short film? Or full-length feature, not short.
Feature, yeah.
Yeah. Because either it could be theatrical, you could have a short film in a theater. Mm-hmm. All right, synopsis. A young writer who follows strangers for material meets a thief who takes him under his wing. So this is directed by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher Nolan, cinematography by Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Composer, David Julian.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's how you say his name.
Sure.
All right, production costs. What do you think?
It's got to be low. I mean, just by the what the film's about and kind of the way it looks. But how low, though?
How low can you go?
All right. It's his first film, I believe. Well, first, like we said, feature, because I think he did a couple shorts before this, but that's it. I wrote down 20,000. Am I way off?
No, I don't say about way off. I mean,
Because I'm like, there's no way it's even like 500,000. There's no way. So I went lower than that.
6,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good on you, Christopher Nolan.
I think it was basically just the cost of the film that they shot it on.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but like there was no Academy Award nominations for this film. All right, we've got the cast is. I wrote all these down, even though none of them are people I'm familiar with.
Me either.
But Jeremy Thiebaud, Alex Howe, Lucy Russell, John Nolan, which later figured out in trivia is Christopher Nolan's uncle, and he's also
the interrogator, I think.
Yes, he's the policeman.
Cool.
Yes, and he's also in some other future movies as like smaller characters as well.
Okay.
And Dick Bradsell, just
Okay.
the bald guy. Most of these don't even have names. It's a young man. There's Cobb, because we know his last name. The blonde, the policeman, and the bald guy.
And Bill's our main guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, even in IMDb, he's the young man.
Oh.
He's not even given a name.
Okay.
Even though he has a name in the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, just quick overall thoughts. What did you think of this movie?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
So I've never seen this.
Me
assuming
neither.
you. Okay. I think it's interesting that immediately the non-linear storytelling.
Yes.
Which we were about to talk about before recording. And yeah, even the name Cobb is, I believe, Leo's character's name in Inception. It's been a while since I've seen Inception, but like, it's just interesting. It's like watching this. It's just like he's got the ideas already. That's like he's going to continue to run with, which is really cool. Yeah, you can just see a lot of the roots of what he likes in telling stories. And I think this film was pretty cool. And particularly I think it's interesting also that this is somewhat about like maybe an insecure writer, and probably it's just about Christopher Nolan at this point. You know, kind of the basis for himself is probably what he wrote that on. But then I wanted to ask you, did he ever actually do this in real life for inspiration? Follow people around, or maybe not go that far. I don't know. But I mean, just like follow people around, and because that's how it starts, obviously the movie. But yeah, I think this was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the base idea here is good and interesting, and what it kind of what it's like working with psychologically, like what do they I think that's interesting and cool. So
it's another big Nolan thing.
Yeah, I like the ideas. I will say the linear storytelling, I don't know that it helps or does anything good here.
Yeah, probably not necessary, but
right.
Guess he just likes doing it.
Yeah. But I guess you start experimenting before you got to do something. A lot of times you got to do something more than once before you kind of really get it right. Right. So
I would say the only one is the very opening scene. I think was good to start with that. But besides that, I think you're right.
Yeah, but that's heck, that's done all the time nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
We talked about that before, like practically like the sort of one, like the template. That's the word I was trying to think.
Okay.
The template for Netflix is right. Like,
oh
yeah, let's pull something that's going to happen in the future that has some action, so we can get some action and excitement right off the top, and then, and then we'll go into the story, a story and can be like 3 weeks earlier or 2 weeks,
Yeah,
that's like,
drives me
that's
crazy.
classic,
Yeah.
but
No, but that's what. Yeah, you're right. But like, yeah, that hook at least at the beginning.
I agree. Like the hook at
That's
the
good.
beginning works good.
Yeah.
To kind of set things up as well.
Yeah.
And, but yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into it then. And of course, spoilers here going forward. Yeah, but like, yeah. So, I mean, the setup there, like we were just talking about, I think that works well to, kind of, even though it's like basically much later in the timeline, it's, kind of
It's literally the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's setting the tone for, well, why he started following, like kind of explains what he's doing. And then of course we flash back to, or go back in time.
Yeah.
And, but I think it also just kind of, it's a good way to, cause it's an interrogation. It's a good way to kind of set up what's happening. So that as soon as then you start watching him, and he's just kind of, he's like observing people, following people, observing people.
Something's going to happen.
But you also, something's going to happen because he's like, and that's when things got
Mm-hmm.
like difficult, or I can't remember what he used. Things went bad or something. But yeah, so it's creating tension there that you wouldn't have already been there otherwise. And then you also would have been confused. So you'd have to explain, because if it's just scenes where guys like just wandering around while, or sitting in places and observing, like, you can't only do that you can't do that for very long. But by putting that in front, then allows that to go way longer.
True.
And not really need more information.
Yeah.
As the viewer.
I really like the, literally like the first thing that said, the following is my explanation. That was cool. Like literally the first thing you hear is just that. Maybe that's also why I was calling it the following instead of following. That's what he says first. And then we first hear that. But then we see a brief second. Well, we hear the interrogation, and then we see it a little bit at the beginning. But it's mainly just him, like you're saying. He's just starting to walk around or observing people and going from there. But yeah, I think it's a really cool opening.
And so how do you feel about the nonlinear storytelling? I know I kind of brought up it.
I agree with you mostly, except for, like I said, I think it's good for the setup, very beginning. But yeah, it didn't need to be the way they did it the whole way through.
Yeah.
The only thing, well, I say that, but it is cool. I don't know. I think I'm kind of torn between it because I agree with you, but also it's kind of cool to like put the pieces together yourself, because you're seeing he's got long hair, he's got a goatee, but then this scene he's like, oh, short hair, clean shaven, dressed differently, and then you're trying to figure out, all right, where is this at in the, which is fine, but like I think it's not necessary though.
Yeah, I think, and this gets into a lot of other stuff, but I think the fact it's black and white makes that more challenging.
Yeah,
I think as a viewer, like, yeah, those are pretty major changes in general, but when you see it in black and white, and then like, because I was like, is that the same guy or is it a different guy? Right, and you're like, and then like,
but that plays into the story.
True.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a little like, I think the grainier black and whiteness of it kind of makes things a little more confusing.
It does.
Than I think it needed to be.
I have a note about that in cinematography though, that I think it is cool, and it probably, I'm assuming, was just like a choice or a limitation.
Yeah.
But I think it works for the feel of the film.
The otherwise feel.
Yeah.
I think it distracts in the non-linearing. I think it makes that like messier. But from like the vibe and tone.
Yes.
I think
Exactly.
kind of gives it like a noir feel.
Yeah, the gritty noir, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because it is really, yeah, you're right. It is very grainy too, but I guess that's just like,
I think it's a type of
whatever camera, or is it
like,
the film?
just 16 millimeter, not even like 35 millimeter.
Well, the budget, well, I guess, well, we can get into that more in cinematography,
Yeah.
but like, you're just, the street scenes, it's like like how they did it back in the day, where it's like
It's just.
no consent. You're just you're just
I think
doing
so.
it. Yeah,
Looks like.
you're just doing it. Whatever you can get away with. Yeah.
I think it's pretty much all of it. Yes.
Yes.
The whole
Yeah.
film. I think. So if you think about this, he has rules. This guy in the beginning.
Yeah.
What do you think about his rules?
I'm trying to remember what all rules he actually mentions.
I think a key one is never the same person twice. That he
Okay,
doesn't follow.
yeah.
He doesn't follow the same. You know.
But the thing is that he then, obviously, because it plays into the story heavily, but like, he doesn't end up, like, there's only a few people that he actually then follows through with and then gets very deeper into.
Well, I think that's right. Like he's breaking his rule.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I think,
Pretty early on. Yeah.
I think what's happening here, or what's being said is right. Like when you kind of step into a gray area and then you justify it because you put these rules around it to make sure it's not, not really in a bad area. Like you haven't crossed the lines, so to speak. But
then you feel okay with it because you have those.
You're like, but I have these rules,
Right.
And so, it reminds me, and I know because we always reference that, like it reminds me like when Elaine and Jerry start dating, or not dating, friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it, and they're like, well, this can't mess with this, and we're going to do this, and of course, by the end, it's a mess, because
he's like, this is very good.
that is also good.
Also good. Yeah.
But this can't get in the way of that. Anyways, so they try to put rules in place to justify doing something that's crossing the line. And that I feel like that's kind of where this guy is living in that area, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Putting some stuff in place to justify, oh, it's okay that I stalk people.
Yeah, he's already in stalker mode. Yeah.
Yes. Because I don't ever stalk the same person twice. It's basically what he's saying, right? Like, yeah, anyways, I mean, I think it's a good concept from a storytelling standpoint, from Nolan's story, like, I think it's psychology of all that, right? Like there's a false sense of security that he has because he's creating these fictitious, or these boundaries on things that then makes him feel like, oh, I'll be all right. This is fine.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. The psychological aspect is always interesting, and that's a really good point because like I didn't think about it until you mentioned it. Like that is something he loves in all of his movies, essentially. So, and I mean, that can get crazy to a certain level in some of his films, but I think it's always an interesting part of his storytelling, particularly. I also I wanted to ask you about the acting, because I was actually like, Bill's good, like he's fine, but like Cobb in particular, I was like, this guy's good. Like I was like surprised, because you think something like this, you're like, how good is the acting going to be? You never know. But like him especially, I was like, this guy, never seen him before. Obviously the interrogator is good, but I believe he was already probably somewhat of an actor, I'm assuming.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe this other guy is too, but I didn't recognize him. But I thought he was particularly good. But yeah, what'd you think?
No, I agree. And I think, but also plays into my next note was like, so then, kind of moving along linearly in the way the film is made. So we get the introduction of Cobb, and he meets Cobb, and you need someone that's charismatic, because there's just a certain charisma he has that kind of brings our lead into his world, and starts getting him basically to break his rules. Right. And so I think that's great, and it kind of, again, that's when things shift a little bit, right? Like then suddenly they're breaking into people's apartments.
Yep.
They're just kind of, again, crossing the line more than.
That's where my quote comes from, because he kind of has explained to him partially why, I guess one of the many reasons he likes doing it. They get into other stuff later, obviously, too, with it. And there's a bigger thing at play, obviously, which we'll get to,
Yes.
which is kind of also a Nolan thing.
Right. Like the reveal, right?
Yep.
The reveal that there was a bigger plan here.
Yep.
That we, for the first 30, 40 minutes, half of this
Most of the movie.
we're not aware of. Yeah, probably 2/3.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. Yeah.
Wasn't until the third act, so to speak, right, that they kind of reveal what the bigger plot here is going on. Even though that scene, takes place out of order, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a good point. I think the other key thing with the Cobb's character, just made a note of, is like, you immediately don't trust this guy.
Right.
I don't. Like, I don't know. Maybe people are different, but like someone like that,
Yeah, but
like me, if I met that guy, I'd be like skeptical constantly.
oh, I would too, but a lot of people wouldn't because he's just immediately charming.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't.
Right.
Maybe it's just we're both so charming that we can see right through it. Right?
Yeah, right. No, but I mean, it does. I mean, it does work. That's why. Yeah. I mean, also, it's just like, it's funny how immediately he goes over to Bill. He's like, why? Like, he knows immediately what he's doing. But it's just, yeah. Oh, it's just very, very interesting.
Yeah. Well, because he's like, here's our mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he sees a gullible person that he can manipulate with this bigger plot but as the way it's told, we don't know that yet.
Yep.
But again, having everything chopped up isn't required to like have a review, which you kind of, I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but like he does that in The Prestige, right? Like he doesn't, it's told linearly in general with like a small flashback to be like, oh, here's what you missed.
Well, yeah, and that one is like a very big reveal.
Yeah. Not this, but
no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that thing can still happen and you can still have a big reveal and not have to mix things up all the time. Like, yeah.
Well, he does it in a lot of different ways. The next film we cover, also done in a very different way.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool way, I think.
Yes.
In Memento. So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it because that's one I have not rewatched in a really long time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it because I'm sure you watched it
actually
when it came out.
Yeah,
because it was like right after Matrix.
Yeah,
because Trinity is in it.
Right, and it was a big like cult classic. Right?
Yep.
Like I remember. The funny thing about this is, we like, this is a little aside, but like,
that's fine.
No, I remember like I had close friends that were all into filmmaking, and close friends that all went off to college and getting degrees in like filmmaking. Some of them are, didn't end up really in that career. Some of them are, but I just remember like a few of them that don't do anything now, but like at the time they were the ones that were more the film nerds, so to speak, than I was. I liked movies. So I remember like I had a DVD player before. I mean, actually I had a computer hooked up to a TV so that I could play DVDs, and then I got an early DVD player just because of the quality and because we would watch so many movies. But
I remember that's something I remember I would come over to you guys' house just to watch like Matrix or whatever else because it was the only way to watch it on DVD, which was like
it was surround sound,
the prime format at the time. Yeah.
So it's all says like I've always been a movie, like I like movies, but like back then we didn't really get into technical stuff because I didn't do the technical stuff. Like I didn't, and so it wasn't. So I just found that, and I remember this movie being one of those friends being like, "Dude, you gotta watch this." Like it's just
Memento.
Yeah. Sorry, not this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Memento.
Yeah.
Movie.
I'll be next week.
Yes, tune in next week where I repeat myself.
It's fine.
All right, so kind of put a note here where I feel like at this point, like shortly after, Cobb starts teaching them to break into apartments, they start stealing stuff to disrupt people's lives. Is where it kind of shifts and it becomes less about plot, more about the ideas and the psychology of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing. Then we introduce the mysterious blonde woman.
Another Nolan staple is like a mysterious woman is or I shouldn't say it's not always a mysterious woman, but it's always, whether it be a mysterious woman or just a woman that's there for the plot, but might not have as much substance to her. That's another Nolan thing. And that's
I had a note right here.
That's present in this too.
That kiss was the most awkward thing ever.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that was rough.
He like dealing with romance and intimacy and that and like all that stuff he's never been good at.
No.
So though it wasn't too bad in Oppenheimer. Like I feel like Oppenheimer had a little bit.
Oppenheimer was good.
Yeah.
And there was a lot to him and his wife.
Yeah.
So, well, and not his wife as well.
His wife and not his wife.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking over 2 decades later, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I wanted to mention it's around here because I don't really have too many more notes as far as like specific things, but I love, you probably have this too, but I love the second break-in, which is Bill's home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about it, or are you?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know. It might not be the same thing, but yeah.
Well, it's 2 things.
Yep.
Obviously, the Batman sticker.
Yes, that's what I was gonna.
Yeah, I figured you'd have that. Very cool. Obviously, he didn't know he was gonna, but I mean, I'm assuming he's just always been a fan.
Probably.
Yeah. But that's just cool foreshadowing now, obviously. But and then I love that Cobb is just roasting him the whole time. It's like the typewriter, his music. It's great. It was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I had a note about that somewhere. I guess it was up here. Yeah, cut in the apartments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, other than that one, they felt kind of repetitive. That's what I kind of also put. Like the rest of them were just like, okay, I can't tell that. Especially again with black and white. Is this even a different apartment?
Right. Yeah. You know what? I did like the detail, which they talk about more at the end, but I do like the detail where the woman is like, do you really have to break the glass? And he's like, yeah, he's like, all these can't just have a hidden key in the same spot. He's like, he would pick up on that. I'm like, okay, fair enough. You know? So he had, I mean, he was smart about it, Cobb, yeah. Because he said they at least did like a couple you saw, and like the key was always under the mat or above the frame or door frame or whatever. Yeah.
Again, just like note here about like some of the switching things around. Again, feels like a puzzle for puzzle's sake and not necessarily.
Yes.
So, all right. So then we kind of talked about this, but we get the classic twist, right? Reveals that Cobb has been manipulating the events, setting up our protagonist to be the fall guy.
Yeah.
Did it land for you? Did you see it coming?
I thought it was a good twist. It wasn't like mind blowing, and because like I knew something was gonna go on. Like I didn't know to this extent, but I knew that him and the woman, there was something that was gonna be involved with that. But no, I didn't guess this completely. But so I thought, I mean, it was still like executed well, I thought, but I do still agree with you that like all the stuff in between, it didn't need to be shuffled around quite as much, like you, to your point, for it to be effective. Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Did you think?
Yeah,
did you pick up on any of it? I mean, I know you said you were already suspicious. Obviously, when you meet him immediately,
yeah,
but what about the woman too?
I mean, yeah, she was kind of a little, because the way she like is like, oh well, yeah, that's my, and then she like changes the story, and then
Oh, in the bar.
yeah, and she's like, change the story, and then she's like, meet me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like I think she was always, but hers was more like she just always manipulating men because she can, like, or is it like a bigger plot? And obviously, once it's revealed that her and Cobb are kind of in on it together, it's like, oh, okay.
And then it's funny. Also, the other thing they argue about. He's like, you didn't have to sleep with him. And then I don't remember what she says, but then he's like, okay. He's like, all right, fine. But yeah, I really liked all that at the end. Like I said, mentioning the, changing it up, breaking the glass in her door, and then like all this stuff that kind of like, it's kind of like them. I don't know. It's like a post. What would you call that? Kind of assessment of like. Yeah. It's like a debrief, I guess, of like their whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. All that was
how did this heist go, or whatever? Like or this con go? I guess is a better word for it. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the kind of ending, how did you feel about the ending?
I mean, that's why I said the cutting around or the non-linear, which is going to be a huge talking point for all these weeks leading up to the Odyssey. I do like it at the very start, the interrogation, and I like ending with it. Mm-hmm. I think it's good. And I mean, like, I don't know, me personally, you don't really feel bad for Bill because, to your point, he pretty immediately goes beyond what he kind of was like, oh, I'm just gonna follow, you know what I mean, like you were talking about, even very early in the film. So like, it's like, yeah, I mean, you knew the risks, now I mean, it's still not fair that they did this whole con on him, mm-hmm. but still, it's like, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it. I think you don't feel much for him, I think some of it's because of the circumstance, like you were just saying, but also I think some of it's like we never really get to know him enough to care about him one way or the other.
True,
and I think that's
And what you do get to know about him is literally him roasting him on it. It's like the stuff in his apartment. Besides that, you just know he's a writer.
Yeah.
And then you get the stuff in the background, which was cool stuff. The stuff I noticed, obviously, big picture of Marilyn Monroe. But then I saw a few Shining. You notice that too? I didn't see anything else in particular I recognized, but that's kind of the stuff behind him. So that's cool. I'm assuming that's just also more stuff probably just Nolan likes, which would make a lot of sense with like the woman is kind of like, I guess he wanted to put in a Marilyn Monroe. I mean, obviously not the same as Marilyn Monroe, but like a blonde.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
yeah, right. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's where the film could be stronger is if there was a way to kind of, again, extend it a little bit, because it's not that long,
right,
and just allow us to like get to know our main guy a little bit more, so that when he is screwed over, double, like everything at the end, like you care about it more. So
yeah, but maybe that wasn't Nolan's intention. Maybe he wanted to. It's more just about like the choices and consequences of or like what is too far. I don't know. Well, right. We can get into themes later, but yeah.
Cool. You got anything else on that before we? Nope. All right. Well, let's get into the cinematography. So we kind of alluded to already, but like the 16 millimeter look and 4x3 framing.
Yep.
Which is like, so you have very high contrast noir grittiness.
Which we already mentioned, like that definitely works for the subject matter of the film. I really like that.
Yes. What doesn't work, but also is probably budgetary reasons, like things are just very underlit.
Yeah.
I don't know if they, I mean, there's definitely times where,
if you're doing noir film, noir, then like that's part of it. But like you're right though, it might be
it needs to be dark, but I mean, like it's like there's no light,
right?
Like, and even then, when there's sometimes it's not. It was interesting. There was a lot of times where the close up dialogue stuff, the light is actually camera side and not
I
shadow
didn't even
side,
realize that.
which is not how you do stuff for. And I don't know. That's just because like that's where the window was, and he wanted to put them where they wanted to put them, or where that light was coming from. Because there was definitely like there was a specific scene where it was the woman and one of the other guys. I can't remember which one it was, and she's sitting there, and like there's a lamp over her shoulder. Well, that's like, so like if this is the frame, she's here, lamp over here, but then she's like the light on her face is coming from here. So it's like it's camera side, which we would never do,
right?
On like in modern filmmaking, you would never do, which they never, but like. So
but even in 1998, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it needs to be motivated. No, you want some natural motivation. So, and there was never seen anything that would be coming from over here, and then you have a lamp right there.
Yep.
So you would naturally have it motivated from the other side, which then also makes it not camera side, which makes things look better.
Yeah,
gives it more depth. And so, but it wasn't. And then the same thing, we do the reverse shot, and this guy over here, and the lamp. You saw a lamp over here at her shoulder, and so. And I know it's not good for audio listeners, but the way I'm describing this, because I'm pointing.
It's all right. Watch the video on YouTube. give us the view.
But anyway, it was just like those little things that I noticed. It's like obviously, and the simplest way to say it is like he's not a cinematographer.
Yeah.
Right. And he was just holding a camera because this was a low budget project.
Yeah. But I mean,
it doesn't affect the storytelling.
I don't know when this happens.
And I know, like, after me saying all that, like, I always say, like, the story matters more than any of the visuals anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see as we go, because I don't know when it happens. But, like, I mean, at some point, he does get one of the best cinematographers right now, up there with Deakins and Fraser and the other guys that we talk about. Hoyte is now his main guy. I don't know how long he's been with him. It'll be interesting to see if he ever did Deakins or Greg Fraser or anyone else work with him. It'll be interesting going through it, because I actually don't know. I didn't look into who else cinematographers were.
Yeah, I don't know yet, but we'll
the big through line is Hans Zimmer at some point, obviously, for music.
Yeah, until he's not.
Until you get the other. Again, it's like another one of the you're getting the biggest and the best of, like, whether it's cinematographer or composer, because then you get now his guy is Ludwig, which is another one of the best composers, and what he did, especially in Oppenheimer, which we'll get to, is incredible.
Yes. So I think with the voyeurismness of this, like this being shot like kind of very documentary style, it fits, right?
Yes.
Like everything's just handheld pretty much. There's not very, but then it's also just not moving much other than just being handheld.
Yep.
The framing is pretty simple, basic, adds the doc style look.
And then we already mentioned all the street stuff. It's just like wherever you can shoot.
Locations, yes. Locations are just random streets, random apartments.
Yep. It's interesting, your point you're saying, because I guess they just try to film wherever they could, and I'm assuming most of these actors aren't getting paid. You were saying like 6,000 is just like, is that the camera and film and that's it?
Well, we'll get into it, I think, in trivia. We'll get into that.
All right.
All right, so I think it's kind of the gist of
My main thing we already talked about. I like the black and white, and the gritty nature of the film really works for the subject matter, whether it was a choice or just a limitation. It worked, which is cool.
Yeah, I think the other thing was like and again, it's hard not to watch this without thinking his future films because I've seen most of them. There's just the one that I haven't, but
what's the one that you haven't seen?
The after Memento. What's the
Insomnia?
Insomnia. Yeah, I've never seen Insomnia. Yeah. It's sort of like what he does in the future. Well, is like also having that more build up to a visual climax and something that you're.
Yeah.
In this, like, the visuals never change, right? Like it's just like this basic thing throughout. And again, budgetary reasons probably, but just something that kind of stood out more because of knowing what he does in the future, and then more of a criticism of this film. It's not really, it's just, right. It's more of just like adding that perspective of like, well, having seen everything else he does, this feels different in that way. And
yes.
It probably was either inexperience or budgetary reasons, but yeah. So I think it's for that.
Okay.
We'll talk about the score and the music.
Yes. I always like to have you go first, if you even have anything, and then I can jump in.
So I will say the score to me, I would say, matched some of the amateurism of everything else.
Okay.
Right. Like it kind of was like, it felt like it would be there for something, and it would be like very obvious and maybe a little almost too obvious. And just to be like, oh, here's a moment we need some tension and let's throw this in there. Which I know is, I know. Like that's music for.
That's what you need to do. Yeah.
That's what it's there for. But it definitely just lacked some of the polish. It's the same with like the editing, I feel like.
Sure, yeah.
The editing, the non-linearness, but like, not just the fact that they were doing it non-linear, but also just kind of the way
it's a more sloppy version of it because it's him probably new to it, but like wanting to do
probably
it.
have to cut on film. Well, I guess he digitized it. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
1990, whatever.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a pain this was to chop it around like that. Not like how it is now. Yeah. I don't know. Well, to your point, why you think it is that way. I mean, I think it is very simple what is done musically to add to those spots. Because, a lot of time there is no score. Mm-hmm. But when it is something very simple. Like there's like a propulsive kind of just like simple percussion thing going, which I actually like the sound of it. It was also sounding like a clock ticking blended in with it at the beginning, at least, which was really cool. Mm-hmm. Kind of a thing definitely he would add in at other times in future films. And then the other time there's just like, it's more just like a basic synth sound, but didn't sound bad though. But just very simple, which I think is your point, where it's not there's not a lot going on, but it didn't sound bad to me though.
Yeah, it was just like a little.
It was very simple.
A little bit of simple, but also to me, it just like lacked some of that polish. But you also saw that in the editing. Like there was a lot of So again, budgetary,
and also I don't know this guy at all. This composer, so
cool.
It's just interesting seeing the origins of all this. Just because I'm talking about he then gets some of the best in these fields, cinematography and composing and. I'm assuming probably editing too and everything else, Yeah.
But then you are, this is like just a philosophical thing, but like, or is that because like they're, how's this? Is it because he's a good director and leader that those people were able to get to the point where they were?
Yeah.
Like Hans Zimmer, I guess I wasn't as aware of him until I think it really was Inception.
Yeah.
Like I remember
It's because
wanting
he
to-
created a whole new thing that then everyone stole.
Yeah. And I remember that just loving that soundtrack so much that I had to look it up and listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or I don't know, at that point, was it buying it or downloading it?
I don't know.
On LimeWire
I
or
did.
something. I don't know.
LimeWire? No, that was 2010. That was after LimeWire.
I know.
I have a random memory. It must have been shortly after the movie came out. I remember you playing it at church. And it was like the track called Time, which is like the best
Yeah. This is funny.
best part of the score,
Yeah.
I think. One of the best. And I don't know why you were just like,
Just because probably the subs at the
maybe,
church,
I don't know.
just-
Maybe you were, yeah, anyway, but, but no, I mean, that's when he became like a household name for sure. But he's been around
yeah, no,
forever.
I know.
Like, I mean, the score he did for The Holiday, which is a rom-com that like you wouldn't think is like incredible.
Yeah.
I remember, so he's done a lot of stuff before that too, but I want to say at least since the 80s.
Yeah.
And some pretty big movies.
Definitely,
even.
Yeah. He's definitely been doing stuff. It's just like,
But you're right. That is when he became,
and then it's like,
he became a John Williams where people just knew.
Mm-hmm. And that marriage between a good like leader, creative, like, and that can then people around him and bring the best out of them.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was just like, hey, maybe that's,
I think you're right.
It's a combination of those two things.
I think you're right because also I remember watching some interviews, even for Oppenheimer, and all the actors, which I'm assuming is going to be the same thing when we see stuff about the Odyssey. All the actors and the cast is incredible, and obviously in Oppenheimer and who all you got, but like they all said like him as a director, what he pulled out of the actors. And why, and how they said it was such a pleasure working for him, even though like he like drills on them hard always, but they all love it. Mm-hmm. So like, I think that lends to your point. Yeah. That he's a good
Which, speaking of
leader.
This is our march to the Odyssey.
Yes. That is why we're doing it.
We're starting this because we
leads
will,
in perfectly. 13 total, including the Odyssey. Yeah.
So we will wrap up doing Oppenheimer the week before the Odyssey, and then go see the Odyssey and record that one. So
Very exciting.
Yeah. So join us in our. Do we call it a march? What is it?
Odyssey, I don't think would be a march. That would be
our journey to the.
There you go.
Our journey
There you go.
to the Odyssey.
Yeah.
All right, trivia. Nolan came up with the idea for this film because he had his home broken into and wondered what the people thought as they went around looking through his belongings.
Okay.
So, which is an interesting thing. Like, it's you feel very violated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I imagine.
Did he have a box like everyone else?
Maybe. But you think about it. Like I've never actually had that happen. But like you'd feel.
Oh yeah.
Like it's your space. Like.
Well, and they go into that, like what's in
right,
there.
and that's where the psychology,
like the photos,
right? The psychology of it, right?
Yeah.
Is what they're talking about in this film. But then it's really, you think about it, like it's like, because it's like, if someone showed up, didn't take anything, you still would be like creeped out.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're like, no, this is my fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
Principal photography of this film took over 1 year, which is probably why. Maybe the confusion on the date, and some places say 99.
Why did it take that long?
Because all cast and crew members had other full-time jobs and they were only able to film on Saturdays. About 15 minutes of footage until photography had been completed.
Well, that's why I was wondering, like, were any of these people actors? But it sounds like they were just had other jobs, not even acting. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that sounds like they were doing other stuff. So that's impressive because you think, I don't know, you think like a movie like this, if you're watching a movie like this, there's a big chance that there could either be very bad acting or very cheesy acting or both, and that's why I was surprised. I was like, especially Cobb, like, I was like, this dialogue, dialogue and the acting was
But you can find people. I mean, I think about like, you know, so the people I work with in commercials and stuff. And
Yeah.
then sometimes you find that right person for the role, and they're
Yeah.
just some local guy that has a full-time job doing something else, and
True.
or gal local.
Yeah.
The second apartment Bill and Cobb break into has the Batman sticker on it.
That wasn't even like an Easter egg. It's like very clearly visible.
Yeah, but like he had no idea. So like, yeah, he just.
That's what I was
like
wondering. I'm assuming he's just
say
always
here,
a big
but
fan.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure we pointed out. I know we already pointed out. The alias used by Bill in the bar is Danny Lloyd. Danny Lloyd is the name of the lead child actor in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
There it is.
Nolan is a fan of Kubrick and considers him to be one of his primary influences.
Yeah, of course. It's everyone's primary influence, honestly.
A lot of people here, right?
But I mean, that makes so much sense. Obviously, the sticker in the background was the actual Shining sticker, but I didn't even pick up on that name. That's cool.
All right, themes and messages.
What do you think? I mean, I kind of started to go into this.
Yeah,
but
same. I mean, I've talked about this a little bit, but
yeah.
I just put. I think it's at its core is the illusion of control. People put boundaries around things that allows them to justify going into gray
Like
areas.
artificial boundaries. Yeah.
Right. Artificial boundaries, and that inevitably get
Just makes them feel better, but then it's like
to justify going into the gray area, right?
Yes,
To crossing
you're
the line, but like barely over the line at first, and then once the boundaries are broken, it's slippery slope down.
Then you're in way too deep.
Yep. Yeah. So what about you?
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I have too. But I kind of have just like trust as a whole, where it's like you just come across someone. How much should you trust them? I mean, we talked about this guy. Like you kind of know right away. I mean, he's charming, but it's like, okay, I know what's But like, yeah, how much you want to trust someone? I mean, he kind of just immediately is just like, all right. And then I feel like there's a not as much of this. It's definitely more centered around what you were talking about, but I think there is a level of when fascination becomes obsession, because like it does kind of to your point already, where you're just like it's first just he's fascinated about curiosity, and then it
becomes obsession.
Yeah, it's another. Yeah, it's part of the line that you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cool.
Now I don't know if he ever fully becomes obsessed, but it is a main thing that he's
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
So, and final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I think everyone should watch this, even just for the fact that it's a quick watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think most people. I would say. I mean, there's the people that don't appreciate. I think they would have a hard time getting over the production value.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like anybody that's a Nolan Nolan fan.
Yes.
Even if it's a minor fan, like you don't have to be like huge, but like just that you're like, oh no, I like some of his movies. I think those people for sure, because I think there's so many
elements,
seeds of what to become of some of the later films.
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch it without thinking of that, right?
Yes.
But I can see where if you try to wipe your mind of all the other films and try to look at this and be like however like old he was, like young
right
director, and he makes this makes this film, and you can see where they would be like, okay, I'll give you some money to make a real film, or it's just a quote unquote real film,
Well, I'll be very curious next week, because I mean, Memento, full length film. Guy Pearce at that time, I don't know how big he was. I mean, great actor, but like, I mean, you got Trinity at least right after Matrix, so
probably
maybe sure,
right? Like I mean,
but then she was probably blowing up then by the time,
which was just one of the sometimes freak coincidence. You just happen to get this.
We
person.
talked about it before with like we were talking about like when Zendaya, like actually hit.
Right. When you film something and when it comes out, and sometimes that can be years,
True.
depending on how things distribution and stuff, especially lower budget things.
Yeah.
So they could have, I mean, theoretically could have been filmed. I don't know. Maybe we can find out in trivia.
Yeah,
Look it up, but like they could have been filmed before The Matrix,
True.
and
True.
it just didn't come out till.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm curious what around that, which we'll talk about next week, because then the third movie, Insomnia, literally Al Pacino and Robin Williams. So at that point, the studio's like,
Right.
that
Yes.
is like massive
Yes.
at that point. So like 3 movies in,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's just crazy. So like it's a big
Mm-hmm.
jump up like almost immediately for him. So
Yeah, and
it's really
probably
cool.
Deservedly so.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Well, let us know your thoughts, and
Yeah.
if you've seen Following, not The Following, Following.
Following. So on
Yeah.
Criterion.
Yes. Yeah. Give us your thoughts and feedback and input and questions and whatever. And you can do that in multiple ways. You can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment or DM on any of the platforms that we distribute on. And you can do that, and please like and subscribe on those on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then you can follow Jared or I on Instagram. I'm at jyoungbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. So next time, as we talked about already multiple times, but we're going to, next film is Memento. And so, until next week when we continue our journey to the Odyssey, we'll see you then.